This segment is being brought to you by Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. Join us in preserving and protecting Tennessee's wildlife.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Southern Woods and Waters, and in front of me is a kitty. And this is not one you want to give the what is it, the meow mix to?
No.
This one here will rip your face off if you get real close to it. This is a Tennessee Bobcat, right?
Yes, it is Tennessee.
Tennessee Bobcat. This is what I really judged Rachel on, was I wanted to get a really good taxidermist in here, but also you can tell the quality of a taxidermist, I think, by their smaller animals. How much detail they put into those is what they're going to easily put that much into a nice deer.
Right.
So the detail that you have in the Bobcat has really impressed me. Like I said, I've seen people mount Bobcats before. Their eyes are too big, their nose is out of whack. Somebody looks like one of them, somebody broke their nose before they mounted them. And, you know, and because I couldn't do any better, I'm gonna be the first one to tell you I can't do any better. But if you're gonna hire a professional and they're selling professional services, I think you should be held accountable for a little higher standard. Now, you went to school for this?
I went for a little while. I trained under a guy named Jimmy Carter. He was doing it for a while, and I worked with him. And then, of course, I trained extra with some people on deer, and I trained extra with people on turkeys. As far as bobcats, when I started, I was kind of the same way. I would walk in and I would see a bobcat and I would be afraid it was going to scare my kid.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I want taxidermy to be an educational thing for children.
Yeah, it should
I don't
be.
want it to be, you know, and a lot of times cats are hard because their eyes are canted just a little bit, and the pupil setting is real important on them, whereas deer, they have dark eyes. You can kind of get by with a little wiggle room. On cats, you're going to know whether an eye is looking at you or not.
Yeah.
So focusing the look of a cat was very important to me.
Now, you started off as a hairdresser.
I did, and it's all about
I mean,
grooming
it's a
and
lot of
making it
hair
look
here.
good.
You're still there.
There's a lot to it.
There's a lot of hair on these
and
things.
I'm a girl, you know,
That's
so
right.
it's all color patterns and getting the colors right in the face and stuff.
Well, it's a lot of great detail that you're showing in your mounts. Now, this one's mounted on driftwood.
It is.
Now, is this a standard mount for you, or
Yes.
is this a custom, or?
No, it's standard. Actually, that customer his name is Ron Young, and he's a friend of mine, and he said, he brought me a deer and he brought me a bobcat, and he said, do what you want. And customers do tend to get a better mount when they do that, because
When they let you be?
Right, when they let me just go in there and look at it and say, okay, this will look good because he's big, or this will look good because, and you know, a lot of people are like, well, that cat's a little small, or that cat's not real great spotted up, and I'm like, no, I can make a beautiful piece out of any cat because cats are beautiful. But he did let me choose the pose, but that is a standard pose. I hadn't done it before, and I liked it, and it fit on that piece of wood good. But it's a standard. I mean, that cat would be my standard rate.
That's a great looking mount. Now, there's all kinds that you can get. You could get one laying down,
laying
or
down,
anything,
jumping,
yeah.
chasing. They really got some cool ones coming off rocks now, coming way down. Like if you don't have a lot of room in a slim area, I've seen them vertical now in books where they're climbing straight down.
This is awesome, but I'm gonna tell you, you can't go wrong with having a taxidermist that knows what they're doing on this and has the detail. Rachel, you're located in Baxter, Tennessee. Do you have a website?
If you go to untamedarttaxidermy.com, right now it sends you to my Facebook.
Okay.
But we are going to build a website with that URL. So.
Okay. Also, we're going to link up to you as soon as you get your website. We're going to link up to you so you can go to Southern Woods and Waters and do that also. They can reach you. We will be showing her phone numbers and things like that because this is the season.
It is the season.
This is when guys are, you know, when guys and gals wake up in the morning at 4 o'clock in the morning or 3:30, they go to the woods. They're not expecting. They're hoping to kill something really big.
And it's hot.
And it's hot.
This is the time to get them in.
Well, it is cooling off a little bit.
It's been great today.
But if they do happen to down the biggest animal they've ever taken, now they've got questions coming at them left and right. Well, what do I do? How am I going to explain this to my wife? Or how am I going to explain this to my husband? You know, that I want this thing mounted, you know? And it's easier when they have a professional. Now, you spoke just a minute ago. If people are having a tough time, I mean, you know, jobs aren't coming in, will you take money down and will you take
my
payments?
policy is, just deer for instance, I kind of changed up with everything, but my policy is you bring me $100 when you kill it, and then I need half down before I start on the work. But you have a good amount of time before that happens.
That's
you know,
right.
I may not start on it for 6 or 8 months, depending on how backed up I am. So you have, you know,
You
bring
can
me
save
$100.
$10 a week and do that.
Bring me $100 and then try to send me a decent payment, $50, $100, to get it paid in half. But you can take the entire time, and then I always try to call about a month ahead and say, are we good? That way that person can say, well, skip me just for a few days and then come back to me.
That's right.
That way I mean, I try to help people. I try to work with people. I got to be paid just like everybody else.
You
but
bet.
I try to work with people as far as
You got a husband that's,
options.
he's kind of, you know, he likes the lifestyle for which he's become
He
accustomed.
does enjoy it.
Well, so this is great. They can call you, they can talk to you, you can
Yes.
figure out a plan. You also do ducks.
I do ducks.
Now, we're going to show them in the next segment at the end after Marty tantalizes us with the food.
I'm
But we're going to show
gonna
some
try
ducks here in the next segment also. We do have a caller. All right, we got a caller. Let's go to who? Louie. Louie, how can we help you tonight?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
I was just waiting until he comes on there.
Go ahead, Louie.
Oh, go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I just want to compliment him on having such a good show on tonight, and this young lady, and I want to be sure and get her phone number on there so we can contact her. I've got a lot of friends up in Baxter, Tennessee.
All right. Well, Louie, I'll tell you what, hold on just this next segment. When we come out, we're going to have her phone number up there for you, okay?
Okay, I'm hanging on.
All right. Thank you,
Thank
Louie.
you.
We appreciate it. And have you got some more pictures, Courtney? Let's show a couple of them. Let's show, because I'm at the now. Oh my goodness, a polecat.
I do.
Now, will you really do those?
I do those. I've had two. In fact, the one on top has
Is that the one
has a
that your
rough
husband
story.
says he leaves you alone?
That's the one where he sends me to the end of our property and has me do it underwater. So
Yeah.
the snake. But there are some tricks to getting that smell out. There really is. So I can't tell all my secrets, but if anybody has their dog get messed
You're
up,
gonna-
just
you're
give
gonna
me a
have to
call and I'll fix them up.
Don't
I'll
make
tell
us
them
use
how to
that
fix
as tip of the week now. But now what's the difference? I mean, you got one that's
Those two
a
are
lot
very
of white.
different. That one, the one on top was from New York State, and he comes every year, drops things off and picks them back up from me. The one down here is from Tennessee, so you can see the fur difference, of course.
Yeah.
Is remarkable. But they do vary. We can
Now I
get
saw
we
a
can get 'em
flat
that
one
white.
today on the road that looked a lot like that top one.
And we can get as far as the white variations, we can get that much here too. It's just the fur variation.
So
length
there's
is-
really no difference in the male or female. They're both
No,
colored the same.
They're both colored the same. They both come the same.
Okay,
They
so
both
you-
smell the same.
They both smell the same. Imagine that. Have we got any more pictures, Courtney? Okay, here's some more pictures of a different bobcat. Now this is one kind of like a sneak mode.
It is. That was a big Missouri male. That was
Really?
a friend of mine in Missouri. He brought it to me, and that
Look at
one
the eyes.
that one had a lot of size to it. He was about 31 inches from nose to tail. This one is about 24, so you're looking at 10 inches almost
10 inches
bigger.
more.
And he was male. He had a big ruff, is what the cheek tufts on the sides.
Yeah. Now now what you did there, the eyes on that one are just like, that thing's breathing. That's ready to
I
pounce.
did like that cat. That cat came out very good.
Now what do you call this on the side? The hair,
I call it the cheek tufts or the ruffs.
the ruffs.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's a lot of detail in that.
A lot of people do get those stretched back, and they have a stretched.
Yeah, they
look.
have a
But-
grin to them.
Yeah.
And I don't like that because I ain't never seen a bobcat grinning.
And
But
I'll
that
say,
there's
I tend to like to mount them mouth closed unless they are leaping for something or they actually have a prey in the scenario.
Right.
Or something they're defending, if you put two fighting. But, you know, you do see a lot of them where they're just walking around with their mouth open growling, and you don't see that a lot in the woods,
No,
you know.
you don't.
So I think it gives them a more natural look unless you're actually giving them a reason in the scenario.
Let me ask you this. If somebody happens to, now we have a bobcat season here in Tennessee.
We do.
If somebody happens to get lucky enough to get one, and we'll give you a tip on where to find those, but how would you like it to come? I mean, do you just bag it up?
If it's killed right then and they want to bring it straight to me, that's fine. I've had people ask me if you got them. Don't cut it at all. Nowhere.
Nowhere.
You don't gut it. You don't.
Don't do anything.
No, you roll it up. If you can't get it to me right now, you put it in a garbage bag. You roll that garbage bag tight, airtight, just like with the deer or anything else. If you have to take duct tape and close that off,
Right.
make it airtight, put it in a couple of bags, freeze it whole, and then bring it to me frozen solid, and I'll thaw it out and start working on it that day.
So really, water and heat are both enemies of your
Very
animal.
much. I mean, a lot of people know that heat, they're afraid of it getting hot, but water is too. You know.
Water's just as bad.
Yeah, bacteria will grow fast, and even in cold water, you know, ice cold water, it's still wet. So
Still wet.
You got to keep it cold and you got to keep it dry. And
What about ducks? Now, what about ducks? How does the duck need to come to you?
See, I have a lot of people who want to put them in pantyhose and want to put them in paper towels and things like that, but it still just traps air around it. Really, plastic is your best friend because it sucks all the air out. I think ducks are awesome in a Ziploc bag. Because a freezer bag, most ducks will fit right in one. I store them that way in my freezer. Slide them right in, roll it up, stick them in there, and they're just stacked. So, I mean, it really works good just to do a Ziploc bag, unless it's a big bird and you can't, and then just double bag it, triple bag it, whatever you need to do with garbage bags. But
is there any animal, though, that you think is tough to get to you? Is there any special things? Now, I know we talk about if you're going to mount a deer, whether it be a buck or doe, you stop at the sternum.
Yes.
You don't want to go any further.
You almost have to be careful. A lot of these mounts now, people really like these pedestals.
Yeah.
And these pedestals take more hide than a lot of them.
Than the sternum?
Not really than the sternum, but when you get cutting on those legs, I mean, sometimes we have to have a lot of leg hide. There's one, an 8900 that I did, it's a form, that has the back comes halfway down the back of the deer. And
Really?
so a lot of people don't realize that, you know, they'll come in and they'll pick that one, and I'm like, well, we don't have enough hide for it. So the safest bet is to tube those legs out in the front, you know, stop at the sternum and tube those legs. And if you can't follow that line, you know, there's a separation color line
Right.
there. And leave me the back. I mean, there's no real point in cutting that off anyway. When you're skinning a deer, you use it to pull down. So just leave it, you know,
Just
and then
leave the
I'll
back
cut it
on
where
there.
I need it.
The back part of the cape,
Yeah,
leave it
all
with
the way
it.
to the tail's fine, you know. I'll cut it off where I need it, and that way you're not having to cut on it extra.
Now, flowers, I know that when they cape one that you're going to mount, the whole cape's in there.
Yeah.
Everything's in there. They put it all in a bag. It's ready to go to the taxidermist.
Yeah, and that's how we want it, you know. I always tell people, you gotta, you know, flowers is great. You gotta watch your processors too, because they're in a hurry. Their job is the meat, my job is the skin, you know. So sometimes maybe I'm not the best at taking care of the skin or the meat, and they're not the best at taking care of the skin because we're trained differently.
Right.
So, you know, I have people, if you need a slaughterhouse besides flowers, that's right by me. But, you know, flowers is awesome. I've heard great things, and I've never had any problems with any capes.
Good
So,
deal.
You know, that's the best place to go if you can.
That's right. Well, we got to do our tip of the week right now, Rachel, so let's go do it. This week's tip of the week is being brought to you by Davidson County Farmers Co-op. Scott Cooper and that fine gang over there off of Dickerson Road will do you a fine job. All you got to do, go in there, ask any question you like. They'll be glad to answer it. All right, this week's tip. Hey, bow season is in full play. A lot of guys and gals out there in the trees staying in until it gets hot. You know, even we have the cool mornings, even the 50s and high 40s right now. It does warm up to about 70, 75 degrees. Now, if you're in the process of tracking that animal and you finally get there, there are some things that you can do to help preserve it. Rachel talked about bacteria and things like that. Also remember that insects play a vital part of that. They will start on that immediately. They will find your dead animal quicker than you will. I keep a little can of McCormick's black pepper.
Yes.
And if you'll take that black pepper, it does nothing to harm the animal.
Yeah, doesn't hurt it at all.
Doesn't hurt at all. But where the entry wound is, the nose, the mouth, and the eyes and the ears, I will sprinkle black pepper, and then you will have no flies and no insects come anywhere near those orifices of that deer. If you want it mounted, or if you want to save it for meat, just carry you a small can of black pepper, and when you get to your animal, douse that all over those orifices, and you won't have insect problems. Hope that helps you out. It's always helped me for years and years. We'll be right back with more of Southern Woods and Waters.